Welcome to a new edition of The Blind Grind. Today we're catching Ray Geraban with one of his clients, the Seven Hills Brewery. Look, this was a long interview, but I managed to keep it short as possible and give you as many jewels as possible. Let's go inside.
What is your blind grind? What is that thing that nobody knows happened? You know, that maybe that moment where you knew what you were supposed to be doing, or maybe that those activities that took place behind the scenes that everybody didn't see, and they're like, you know what, Ray's the man, and you're like, whoa, you don't know.
Well, I mean, the story to that really comes down to is really you never know, because everything's evolving for an individual and their skill sets, right? Finding yourself is the number one thing that stumbles a lot of people, right? It doesn't matter whether it's your career, right? Going to college, what you've been, it's the conditioning of your mind and the initial thing that you have to fight. Right. When you want something better or worse than anybody else out there, right? No matter the opposition, the understanding, what your parents may think, because being different is vital to your success in doing something that maybe the majority of your family will never do, the majority of your friends will never do. Right. And it's being able to be steadfast to what it is that you believe in yourself, knowing you can do. Okay. I consult with a lot of people, either in business, personal, and or, right? I guess the number one challenge is the excuses that one gives himself that they can't do something because they lack of something, right? Okay, well, you know, my blind grind is that I dropped out of school at an eighth grade reading level. But somewhere down the line, even dibbling and dabbling in drugs and making real reckless decisions in my younger years, right? And a lot of people see my current success or my way of doing things and how really anal I can be about certain things, right? Yeah. And you know how I am about being straightforward. I mean, but it's done in a way with what I had to lack, I had to learn, I had to make it up somehow. But that took dedication. That took persistence. That took, correct. Because regardless of where you are in life, it doesn't mean you can't get better. Right. And where a lot of people thought in my mistakes, I would never be where I'm at today. I would never have the knowledge. I would never have, in a lot of cases, you know, competing with people with 12-year degrees. Yeah. You know, it just really depends. And I submerge myself. Submerge myself in everything. Okay, submerging myself in everything that I can to learn about that industry, but learn about the people behind the industry. Right. Okay. If I didn't have, you know, the video work that I do, the production I do, the marketing that I do, it wasn't happenstance. I worked at it. It took me 15, 20 years to get to the point that I'm at, okay? 15 to 20 years, where most people, and sorry to say this, most millennials, you know,
talk about it,
want what they want when they want it, okay? And we can have the entitlement of wanting that, but for me, it was self-education. And I can't really say self-education. Somebody had to write the book, right? Okay? So somebody helped me along the way. But I had to make the decision to help myself first, right? I had to change the influences in my life. Though people could tell me all the time, I mean countless times, you're better than this, you're better than this. It wasn't until I started believing that.
Right there. One of the key things that I've been dealing with a lot of millennials is knowledge is not power. No. The application of knowledge is power. No. Knowledge applied is power. That's what he just dropped, man. That's power.
And that's the truth, because you can, I mean, let's be realistic. You can study in an industry for 2 years, reading, and be an authority and speak very well about that subject. But if you're reading you're reading something to be about an engineer. Okay, now it's time to build, but you've never applied. Okay, what do? Now somebody's challenged you. It's one thing to talk about it. It's one thing to do it. Right? And
he taking my job, y'all.
You know, And I'm a big believer of that. Now, there's different styles, managerial, there's delegation, there's, you know, between the officer and a grunt, right? But for you starting out or for somebody wanting more, you must do what must be done, right? A successful person is going to do what must be done whether they feel like it or not, without fail. Without fail. And that's the problem. Most people, once they fail, they think that's the end of it. And it'll take them years and months and months. I've had so many trials and tribulations. I've had so many setbacks. But the one thing I don't do, I don't stop. I don't stop learning. I don't start teaching.
Come on, man.
Okay? You've got to be able to teach in order to retain. All right? And you have to understand that it's the servitude of others, not you. Right?
Yo, right there. And hold what you got. Man, I was watching the Olympics just yesterday, and I noticed that Serena had an upper hand most of the time when she was serving. And I was like, wow, we got to bring this out. In tennis, you have a better chance of winning when you're serving.
Right. Correct.
Jewel.
Correct.
Jewel.
That's right.
The person who serves, like, where you have a better chance of winning.
But here's the thing.
It's not about
You're never going to ace it every time. You're never going to ace it every time. Okay? You count the many times. I mean, we look at Jordan. We look at everything. I mean, there had to be so many trial and errors before it became a success. So, you know, I've had auto detail, you know, wasn't really what I wanted to do. I just trying something out. MLMs, you name it, right? An entrepreneur is going to try everything. But the one thing I realized is that for me, what I had to identify, what is my greatest talent? Reaching people. Now, am I big on social media? Don't need to be. For some people, that's a platform. It's just a platform.
But not the only one.
But not the only platform. Okay? That's the thing that people have to, you know, in my consulting with local businesses, okay? The thing that I do most is to help them understand the foundation is everything. And everything can be done incrementally. It doesn't have to be done at one time because every platform is a different animal.
Right.
So why would you try to master all of this? Let's think about it. Shaolin monks, Kung Fu, right? How many different styles are there?
You teaching me.
Well, there's multiple styles. The dragon, so on and so forth.
Okay,
Mantis, right? Okay? But each one of them takes them to another level, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But that's a lifelong journey to master it all. It's not going to happen for everybody right because they want it now, that they want to be entitled to it. You have to work and earn everything and pay your dues. If you're not willing to pay your dues, then don't do it. If you're not willing to do it for free, don't do it. It's not for you. You want a check. Go get it. There's plenty of jobs out there.
Go work for somebody else.
Right. But if
you're a career.
Right. But if you have to do what you have to do for the moment until you get to the point of replacing that income, temporarily. Everything has to be in your mind temporarily.
Right.
The troubles in your life are temporary. It's the mindset that changes everything when it comes to that. Once that happens, now you've got the catalyst going.
But can you do it when the room is empty? When nobody knows who you are? When you have no followers on your favorite social network? Then, and only then, will you experience beast mode.